let's crunch the numbers with our US correspondent Kethevane Gorjestani. Kethevane, it's not looking like a great night for the Republicans, even though the main opposition party normally does pretty well at the midterms. What do you think went wrong for the Republicans in this vote?
Well, the question will be, as we analyze really those exit polls over the coming days and weeks, will be whether it was really a problem with the Republicans or whether the Democrats' strategy actually worked. It looks like right now maybe abortion and democracy, as the president said, were actually on the ballot, that they were more important than the latest polls had suggested. The polls suggesting that the economy was really by far the most important issue. It was still a very important issue, but it looks like abortion actually stayed a very important key issue for Democrats, that it mobilized Democrats more than we had expected. This was something that we saw in several states, and it looks also like the strategy of the Democrats to focus on this threat to democracy actually worked in some states where the Democrat candidate was a sort of moderate Democrat facing an extreme MAGA, as the President of the United States called them. In those cases, it looked like a lot of voters chose to go with a more moderate Democrat rather than an extreme Republican. And so all of these things combined make this picture of the Republicans are likely going to win the House still. But given the situation, these are midterm elections, the Democrats are in power, Joe Biden's numbers are very low, the economy is struggling. This should have given the position of the Republicans to have that big red wave. Red wave, it will not be. It will likely be a red victory. But as the Republican Senator Lindsey Graham said, definitely not a Republican wave. That is for darn sure.
There is, though, one slice of good news for the Republicans, Kethevane, and that's in Florida, where Ron DeSantis has won the governorship with a thumping majority. What does that mean for him, and particularly with potentially eyes on the White House in 2024?
Well, there are two main storylines coming out of this huge landslide win for Governor Ron DeSantis in Florida. One is something that he himself pointed to. He said that with this huge victory, they had sort of rewritten the political landscape in Florida, and that looks like it is the case. Governor Ron DeSantis did extremely well with Republicans, of course, but he also did extremely well in traditional Democratic strongholds like Miami-Dade County with Latinos, and it is looking increasingly like Florida, which for years was sort of seen as a battleground state where Republicans and Democrats were basically on par. It's looking like Florida is turning into a comfortably red state. The other storyline is, of course, the personal storyline for Governor Ron DeSantis. This was really the proof that his style of politics works. He took the Trump style of politics, added his own flavor, and he's looking increasingly like the rising star of the Republican Party, and very likely the only viable challenger to the former President Donald Trump himself. And that is something that Donald Trump doesn't like and has been saying over the past few days now. He's been attacking Ron DeSantis. He called him Ron DeSanctimonious. He said that it would be a mistake if Ron DeSantis were to run against him in 2024. And he even very recently threatened a little bit Ron DeSantis, saying that if Ron DeSantis were to run against him, he had things about Ron DeSantis. He knew things about the governor that nobody else knew, a sort of veiled threat to the governor. And so these numbers for Ron DeSantis really show that he is a force within the Republican Party. And it looks from the first reactions within the Republicans that a lot of Republicans are seeing Ron DeSantis as possibly a way out of Donald Trump, but not out of the Trumpy brand of the Republican Party, which could be the best of both worlds for the Republicans.
Thanks for your analysis. Really interesting. Kethevane Gorjestani for us there in Washington.